All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Again, my name is Adam Yoder, and if you guys don't know me already, I have a life insurance agency right now, and I produce over $50,000 per month with just final expense on inbound calls. And today, I've got my business partner here who's done over 8 figures in lead generation for insurance companies, what the best type of lead sources are, where you get the leads, and then how you actually close them as well. With that being said, let's just kick it right off, Nate. So just tell them a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, my name is Nate, and I run Money Printer Marketing. We are a high performing pay per call network. We focus on scaling insurance agencies, and yeah, we've done over 8 figures, so that's pretty fucking cool. Trying to grow that shit, but recently we've been really focusing on growing XFG, which is pretty dope. This week was fire, bro. This week was really good. The agents ripped it. Considering we're like in the brand new infancy stage, pretty fucking fire.
Yeah, the results have been really good so far, and shout out to you. Your team has been very helpful with providing the inbound calls, and I've been getting them agents to close them.
That's all we do.
At this point, we've got both sides of the coin pretty much locked down. We've got the sales side, and then we've got the marketing side.
Let me ask, why inbound calls? Why is that your guys' focus right now? Because obviously we're going to talk about the different lead types. There's appointments, there's live transfers, there's outbound age data, there's real-time opt-ins. And like I do want to give as much of my context as much as possible, but I'm super interested for everybody to find out from Yoder himself, why do you feel that inbound calls is the best? And why did we partner? From you, not from me, because I'm the guy selling the fucking calls. So as soon as I start saying it's like, oh no, Nate's just fucking, he's just trying to peddle the call. Nah, bro, like, please tell the people why inbounds? Like above everything.
Yeah, great question. Number one, I mean, inbounds are just the most efficient business model by far. I mean, why would I want to outbound dial, or why would I want to ask for referrals or door knock or whatever else people do to generate leads with insurance when I could just get inbound calls for people that already want the insurance, are already interested, and are already qualified? I mean, it makes a lot more sense just as from an agency owner standpoint, but also from the agent standpoint. When I first got started selling life insurance about over a year ago now, I only did inbounds. I've never done, well, I take that back. I have done other types of lead sources, but starting off, I only did inbounds. And my first month, I wrote $54,000 in premium. And as soon as I saw the money start depositing from that, I was like, okay, like this is it. Because, there have been other times where I've used like a different lead source, but inbounds just consistently performed the best for me. I consistently write the most business with inbounds, and the retention with inbound calls is a lot higher as well.
Yeah. I think that has to do primarily, well, let's actually describe what inbound calls are. So when we say inbound phone calls, it's funny because a lot of times when I talk to people, especially like smaller agencies, where I'm like, yo, listen, I sell inbound phone calls, consumer initiated inbound phone calls. A lot of times people will be like, oh yeah, I'm super down to buy your live transfers. I'm like, whoa. First, let's discuss what the fuck is the difference between a consumer initiated inbound phone call and an outbound initiated live transfer phone call. And we'll talk about how the lines get blurred a little bit and the differences. But essentially, consumer initiated inbound phone call means the consumer initiated the phone call. They are the one expressing the interest in saying, hey, I want to reach out to this company. So that could be Google search, right? They run an ad. Somebody's running an ad on Google and it says, hey, do you want to get a life insurance policy today? Click to call to speak to an agent. So they click on the ad, they call in. That is a consumer initiated inbound phone call. It could be from Meta, right? You're running a Meta ad and it's like, yo, do you need to get life insurance? Call now. So then they call in. That is consumer initiated versus a live transfer. 9 out of 10 times, and we'll talk about how the lines can get blurred, but 9 out of 10 times, a live transfer is an outbound generated call, right? So what happens is the call center or the agent onshore or wherever the fuck the person is, they are outbound dialing by just pounding with cold calls all day. And then somebody picks up the phone. Hello, how can I help you? Hey, is this Susan? Yeah, this is Susan. Hey, this is that annoying life insurance guy. Do you want to have a conversation? No, fucking stop calling me. Lose my number. Do not call list. Boom, shut it down. Or obviously one out of, probably like 60, 70 different dials, you finally get someone that's like, sure, I guess I'll have a conversation about this. So when it's outbound generated, that means that somebody got that person on the line by them reaching out. And then what happens is they have the sales conversation to pre-qualify that caller. Once they pre-qualify them with the pre-qualification script, then they say, hey, it looks like this is going to be a good fit for you. I'm excited to get you the quote. Please stay on the line. I'm going to transfer you over to a licensed life insurance agent who's going to take the rest of this call and get you the best possible policy. The person's like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll stay on the phone, whatever. Because this person could have been fucking watching TV. They could have been on the toilet. They could be driving, whatever. And they received a phone call from a cold call center. They pick up the phone. They had that conversation. So it was outbound generated. And it's really important that that nuance is identified and understood. And the reason is because you have to understand the mentality of the consumer. That consumer that is inbound calling, they have the time. If they didn't have the time to learn more, they wouldn't be calling in, right? And the reason why that's important is because if you have been selling and you're outbound dialing people or you're getting live transfers of people, the live transfer comes in, hey, you know, I don't know. I was just cold called out of the blue. I'm fucking driving to my doctor's appointment. I don't have time to have this conversation. Call me back later. And then you lose that person because they weren't ready to have a sales conversation. Whereas a consumer initiated inbound phone call it's possible that people don't have time, but like, Yoder, how often do you hear somebody's like, oh no, like I don't have time for this? Like one out of fucking God knows. When you're a good salesperson, right? If you suck as a salesperson, you quote them at $117 for a $5,000 per month policy, they're probably going to hit you with the, oh yeah, I need to go. I don't have the time, right? Something along those lines. But again, the numbers in terms of like how often the likelihood is there of someone saying, oh, I don't have fucking time for this is much lower. And there's a lot of other things that we're going to talk more about the differences between inbound phone calls and live transfers. But it is important that you understand the difference because the mentality of these consumers is completely different, right? So the mentality of this person that's calling in is they've seen an ad. They're like, okay, I know I need this product, or at least I'm interested in learning more about this product. And then they call in themselves. So they're interested, they're ready, they're probably sales qualified because they go through a landing page, which asks them the questions. How old are you? Are you a smoker? Do you have a bank account? You know, there are different qualifiers that we ask specifically for life insurance. Once they get through that landing page and the pre-qualifying process, then we prompt them with a phone number and it says, hey, call now to speak to a licensed agent. And the reality is the largest sales agencies in the country, this is what they use, right? And that's the main reason why we wanted to plug in is because like, why would we replicate what every other Harry, Dick, and Jane out there is fucking running with outbound dialing and wasting God knows how many man hours outbound dialing when the largest sales agencies have come to the conclusion that the most efficient way of selling life insurance at scale with high retention and higher premiums and happier salespeople because they're actually making more fucking money, right? When we put all of these things together, inbounds just simply makes more sense, right? And that's kind of what the larger sales agencies found out. So that's why when you and I came together and I was like, bro, I have the inbound phone calls. I've been scaling these campaigns with the largest sales agencies in the country. I might as well start my own fucking agency, right? And then that's when you and I started having a conversation. And we were like, you know, let's join up because you're arguably one of the best salespeople that I know. I'm not going to say it's impossible by any means, especially when you're the one managing them. But like, not many people that are just on their own selling are able to do $50K in their first month on fucking final expense. Like that's impressive.
I appreciate that. And, you know, like I said, I can't take all the credit for it because, you know, I don't really consider myself anything too special. You know, I've been in sales for about 6 years now, so that helps. But, you know, it really is just the system and understanding how to like intake the call because, you know, a lot of people don't know how to actually take inbounds, but, you know, we teach people how to take inbounds, how to close them, how to get them across the board as efficiently as possible. And, you know, so I got to give all credit to the lead gen system because, you know, obviously it's half and half, but, you know, that I couldn't do it without inbounds. That's for sure. I could, if I was working like form fill leads, I could do it 100%, but I'd be working 12 hours a day to do that.
Yeah. And even then fucking contact rates and then making sure they're on the phone, they're ready to go. Like, I mean, I know that people have come on to buy calls and they've told me, and I'm not a salesperson as far as like selling life insurance. So I've never gone through this process, but they're telling me they'll outbound dial all day and not have a single sales conversation. That's insane to me. Like, I can't imagine working all day and not having a single sales conversation. That's fucking absurd. You know, if you're a salesperson, you better be
Yeah,
selling.
well, and not just that, but those types of people as well. They don't have a system that even tracks like for me, I track what amount of time, like my talk time, obviously, but I track what of that talk time is spent towards somebody that's qualified. Like
Yeah.
what percent of my job is actually am I actually selling and closing versus just calling? Because if somebody's in sales, making a bunch of outbound dials and not talking to anybody that's qualified or interested is not sales. That's just prospecting. It's lead
Yeah.
generation. But we're salespeople, so that's why I track the actual sales specific numbers. And a big part of that is how much time are we spending in front of qualified clients per day, and how many of those are we closing?
So for the guys that are seeing all of the ads that are floating around from all the assholes like me that do lead generation for final expense agencies, right? Like, they're seeing fucking, stop what you're doing it wrong. You should be doing AI appointment setting or AI outbound dialing, or you shouldn't be outbound dialing. You should have AI doing it for you, or build a call center, or God knows all the other lead gen models, form fills, real-time leads. You should be dialing on exclusive leads every day. Like, for the person that's watching that video or seeing that ad, and they're just kind of like, what the fuck should I do, Yoder? What would you tell them? No matter if they're, let's say it's a new guy, he's trying to get this final expense life insurance agency thing going. He doesn't know where to buy leads from. Maybe he's bought some age data in the past and dialed through it, didn't get anybody on the fucking phone. Like, what would you say to them? Other than, of course, come work for fucking XFG because we got it dialed, right? But like, genuinely, somebody, they don't want to come work with us. They want to do it on their own. Fair enough. Like, what would you tell someone in that
Great
position?
question. Well, first of all, I wouldn't right off the bat just tell somebody to change their entire business. Number one, you got to do what works. But then once you figure out what works, you have to do what's most efficient. And, I've been through the process of trying a bunch of different leads and trying a bunch of different sources. And ultimately, like, I found that inbound calls work the best just because it is the most efficient. It is the highest trust sales process. And, the cost, if you're good at closing closing inbounds, once you get the hang of it, the cost it should be the lowest as well. So everything just works in perfect harmony. But like I said, I wouldn't tell somebody just to completely uproot their business and change to something else, because there's people that are making it work with AI and they're very happy with it. There's people that are making it work with data and they're very happy with it. There's people that are making it work with live transfers or form fills or TV ads or whatever it is. But you got to do what works. That's the main thing. You got to do what works.
Yeah, that makes sense. So to talk about some of the different lead types, right? Again, for somebody that's kind of new, or the experienced guys, considering we've tested fucking literally everything. From your perspective as a salesperson, and I've ran sales teams using this model, but as a salesperson, if you're having a conversation with a potential lead vendor and they're wanting to sell you booked appointments, what are your thoughts on the booked appointments model?
Well, right off the bat, I'm going to be asking, how much is the cost per appointment? Number one, how many of those should I expect to close? How many are you guys closing on average? What no-show percentage am I going to see with that? Where did the client come through to find this, to book this appointment? Like, what was the funnel look like? Like, what did everything look like before they even got to speaking with me? Those are the kind of questions that I'm going to ask if I'm doing appointments.
Yeah. So have you ever ran appointments before for final expense specifically?
Just a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. So I used to rip solar appointments, and solar appointments was great. And I liked doing the appointments, but, and this is a big but, if we're going to compare apples to apples, the efficiency of consumer-initiated inbound phone calls and fucking appointments, it's not even a conversation. And the main reason why is because you could have 4 booked appointments, right? And literally all 4 of them not show up to the appointment. And when it's homeowners that are interested in getting a new solar quote and they know it's just a sales conversation, there's a likelihood that those people will not show up, no matter how many fucking text confirmations you send and email confirmations and yes, they opted in and yes. Bro, humans are humans. They probably don't want to have that conversation. And even if, you have a 75% appointment rate, that means that if you have 4 appointments on the books, only 3 of them show up, you better have a 33% close rate on those appointments in order for you to make a sale that day. And that's fucking tough. Like, having a guaranteed 33% sales rate is not fucking easy. So then we'll say, okay, well, if you want to do more, just book more appointments. Okay, let's book 8 fucking appointments. Even of those 8 appointments, if, you only have 6 people that show up, now you got to close 1 out of 6. And that's if you can get the 1 out of 6. But then you don't even know necessarily the quality of that person. They may not even be that interested, right? And there's all of these things that go into the booked appointment model, especially when you're using something like AI, which I have yet to find an AI that performs anywhere near the level of fucking inbounds. Right. So it's just like, like, I don't know. And then at the same time, you're still typically outbound, using AI, outbounding on that on the age data. That's not good. Or you're getting the new leads that come in. Yeah. Okay. Let's spend $28 for a generated fucking lead and then put an AI bot on it to set the appointment. Get the fuck out of here, bro. $28 for a lead when you can come to fucking Policy Printer and get it for $25 and you have a live sales conversation, like, doesn't even make sense. Because I remember one time when I was selling calls for Policy Printer, somebody had said, oh damn, I can only pay $25 and it's basically $25 for a sales presentation. And that's exactly what the fuck it is. Like, you literally get to have a live sales conversation with someone right here, right now, guaranteed, not just a fucking lead that you have. Yes, you get it exclusive. What the fuck does that matter if the person doesn't ever pick up the damn phone?
Yeah.
You have exclusive access to that phone number for how long? Does that even actually matter? Like,
yeah, well, and just adding on to that, I mean, I know some agents that will like literally have to triple book appointments just because people cancel or people just don't show up. And that's the thing. Speaking of the efficiency of the inbound model too, like with insurance, especially final expense, a lot of these people are older. It like booking an appointment and showing up for an appointment is just a lot of friction for them. You don't know. I mean, if it's a final expense booked appointment, some of these people might not show up just because they don't have Zoom or they don't know how to use their phone. Yeah, I mean, the efficiency is just way better.
Yeah, with inbounds, I feel you. So then with live transfers, what's been your experience with live transfers? Because I know that you had a shitty one, to say the least, and I've ran up millions of dollars in live transfers as a lead vendor, and we've done really, really well with different offers, but we don't run transfers for final expense at all whatsoever. And it's primarily due to your experience. So, what you want to tell everybody what your experience with transfers is so they can have more context.
So live transfers, we tested them for about a month. And don't get me wrong, I mean, we closed policies. Our cost per acquisition was decent. The front end metrics were fine, but it's all about the back end metrics. That's where things started to fall apart because number one, the average annual premium was significantly lower. Like with an inbound call, the average annual premium is like $900 to $1,000 roughly, maybe even a little bit higher. I think I just checked my agency stats last week and our average annual premium was like $1,015, which is good because it means that the agency is making money, the agents are making money, everybody's making money. But with live transfers, the average annual premium from my experience was between like $600 and $700, if that. Probably closer to like $500 to $600, like $550 to $650. Yeah, significantly less. And when the agents or when the premiums are lower, the agents obviously make less money. And it's harder for them to afford transfers. And that being said, we haven't even gone into the retention of it because the retention on live transfers is horrible.
Yeah, that's really where your bad experience came from. But I mean, having low premiums fucking sucks. Nobody's trying to close a $200 deal for fucking final expense.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a nightmare. But just speaking on the data of that a little bit more with live transfers, our chargeback rate was like 40 to 50%. Like it was just horrible.
And were they primarily chargebacks or cancels or
chargebacks, non-sufficient funds? Just everything in the book.
And it was about what percentage did you say that was at?
40 to 50% chargeback.
It makes sense too because like when in offshore, I'm assuming those were offshore generated transfers, but he's generating them in onshore, yeah. So if you're using, I mean, onshore or offshore, it doesn't really matter, but especially if you're using some offshore team, they're outbound dialing data, they're talking to seniors, and they're like, hey, do you want to pay fucking $90 a month for a policy? Like a lot of these seniors are paycheck to paycheck. There's no way that they could afford $90 a policy. So for them getting outbound dialed and then being like, oh yeah, dude, yeah, I guess I'll have a conversation. Then they get transferred, then they come to find out it's $90 a month. And they're like, oh my God, I mean, maybe. And then the salesperson applies a bunch of sales tactics, which is good as they should. You got to do what you got to do to get the deal closed. But then you close the deal, then it comes down to, is it going to NSF? And the likelihood with outbound generated transfers is if they're the ones that are not calling in and they're just being randomly called because it's fucking Medicare data that's being outbound dialed on. Like, bro, that's like probably the most common, right? The most common data set for people to dial on, which is not TCPA compliant, mind you. That's also opening you up for TCPA compliance fucking nightmares, which is kind of funny how many people I talk to that don't even know about what TCPA is. because they have not gotten hit yet. And that's the scary. I mean, I've been through an unfortunate amount of TCPA lawsuits, and we've had to, work with the litigators, work with the people that are complaining. And honestly, fair enough. Like, if we should not have been dialing them, we should not have been dialing them. And we had to own up to that, and we had to pay thousands of dollars to cover them, because that's the fucking law, and the consumers are protected, and they should be protected, because like, it's just what it is. But at the same time, like, bro, live transfers, when you can find a good inbound call source of people that are calling you, I mean, even just the quality of the sales conversations is completely fucking different, right? Getting a bunch of people, oh, I don't know, do I even need this? Do I want the... Whereas somebody that's calling in, like, they know that they need it. Obviously, it's not going to be 100% laydowns, right? And if anything, it's usually not never laydowns, but 5 to 10% of people are just like, sure, give me the policy. But then at the same time, like, at least there's legitimate fucking interest. That person is looking for a policy right now, and they're looking for a quote. Rather than somebody that's like, yeah, I guess I'll talk to somebody because they were outbound dialed from a fucking Pakistani call center.
Yeah, the live transfers.
Shout out my Pakistan. All love, all respect. Like, we appreciate you. We salute you for what you do. However, the sales conversion and numbers, the numbers don't motherfucking lie.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of these people, they've been called hundreds of times, especially during open enrollment. These older people get called 50 times a day. That's probably understating it too. And there's just not a lot of good things about that model. It's very low trust, because that's the thing. Final expense and life insurance in general isn't really, I don't really view it as a sale. I view it more as like a trust building enrollment. And I think that's why I've had the success that I have had. But, I'm always about, what can I do to maximize the trust factor? Because that's really what's going to get it across the board. I mean, we got to ask for people's banking information, their social security numbers, their beneficiaries. We're asking very intimate questions. And so the trust factor has to be high. But, you just don't get that with the live transfers.
So let's talk about the numbers really quick. So we talked about numbers with chargebacks on live transfers. You said your experience was around 40%, which is fucking horrible. And I'm sure there's some people out there with less chargebacks with the same model, and probably some people with more chargebacks with the same model. Also, as we both know, it depends how you sell it. With outbound dialing on data, like you yourself spending the time to outbound dial on data, that's just a fucking nightmare of outbounding, super inefficient. So talk to me about where you have seen with our agency the numbers. Again, if I say it, I just sound like I'm just fucking pitching calls, right? But like with you as the agency owner, and you managing the salespeople, what numbers have you found for retention, cost per acquisition, and close rate? I'm super interested. Also, I would love to hear your perspective on the cost for the inbound phone calls as well.
Yeah, of course. So, let's start off with conversion, just because we'll kind of backtrack from there. But last month, I'll speak for me personally, and then speak for the agency. Last month, I converted 1 out of roughly 4.5 raw calls. So not even billable calls, but just 1 out of, let's say, 5 people that called in, I wrote a policy on. Extremely efficient. Obviously, I pay $20 per phone call. Shout out to Nate. We get a discount on those through our agency, XFG. So, that leaves me at around, we'll just say $80 to $100 cost per acquisition. Mine was $91. But we'll just call it $100 cost per acquisition. The average annual premium on that was $1,023. And obviously, if an agent is at 100% commission, they're going to make $1,000 roughly over the course of the year, and then they're going to get paid about $750 upfront. So rough numbers, we'll just say I spent $100 to make back $750 every single policy, and I can close 3 of those a day, no problem with inbounds, just because it's so targeted. Now for the agency, our average annual premium was like $1,015 this month so far, so just a little bit lower, but it's pretty consistent across the board. Average close rate on those calls has been roughly, I need to look at the numbers again for everybody as a whole, but I would say in general it's like 1 in 6, 1 in to like 1 in 8 or 9 maybe. So as an agency, we're looking at a total cost per acquisition of roughly, we'll call it like 150 to 175.
And then what do you see in regards to retention? Because we already know there's going to be those guys that watch this video. Well, fucking chargebacks. You didn't kill the chargebacks. So to shit on them a little bit before they try to shit on us. Tell them a little bit about the retention numbers that you've seen, especially for any agents that are considering this model, right? It's pretty important. And I would also like to say, like, not to toot my own horn here, but it also depends on how those calls are being generated, right? I think a lot of times, like, even the inbound calls, some guys run some motherfucking dirty shit out there, and it just leads to bad chargebacks. So we don't have those issues like some of the other teams that run, because obviously there's other people out there that generate the inbound phone calls, right? There's some people out there. There's not that many, but there are some. But talk to them a little bit about your chargeback numbers and like what retention looks like.
Yeah. So like I said, for live transfers, it was horrible. Retention was like 60 to 65%. Very bad. With inbounds, my retention personally is like 85 to 90%. I need to take a look at that again as well, but it's been good. I mean, really good. I mean, there's obviously some people that are going to charge back. Even if you do your job perfectly, there's going to be people that will charge back, or just, life happens to some people. But, the thing is, when
Yeah.
people are calling in and they know it's about life insurance, and they understand it, and the agent explains it correctly to them and wraps the call up and explains all the policy details again with them, there should be very, very low rates of chargeback. Just because the trust is there, and not only just the trust, but the emotion is there too. Like through the sales process, if there's low trust, that means that the call is going to be almost all transactional. There's no emotion there, and when it's just transactional, people are going to cancel their policy. But when you build the trust and the emotional connection with the client about the policy, with the beneficiaries, why it's important, who it's going to be covering, what it's going to be paying for, how much their family is going to get, the fact that it's not going to leave their family with any debt. When you go over that as an agent and then really reiterate that, it limits chargebacks a lot. And, like I said, with inbound calls, the stage is already kind of set because they're calling into you as the authority. And it's your job is just to hold the authority figure and ask them the right questions to really keep the trust and build up the emotional connection to the policy. So, we have a whole entire sales process that we make our agents go through, and they've had very good success with it. But, part of the reason is because I understand that it's not only just, getting the banking information isn't what makes the sale. Getting the social isn't what makes the sale. Picking a policy for the client is not what makes the sale, but it's actually the trust and the emotion that goes into that. That's going to not only make the sale, but keep the policy on the books, which is what really matters at the end of the day.
So you and I have been talking a lot, and right now we're kind of at the point. Our goal is to get 10 agents, right? 10 writers, 10 producers. We'd really like to work with people who are fucking tired of outbound dialing all day, and they just want to take inbound phone calls and stack up 30 to 50K AP a month. Because obviously with our model, we can fucking do that as long as they have enough states, right? In the day, if you have enough states, let's fucking go, jump on the team, learn the sales process. Let's write some fucking policies. And for those who have never sold final expense before, if you've never sold final expense, you want to learn the model, we do not accept everyone on the team. We have to keep the team as dialed as possible and as just close knit as possible. We don't want to open up that, because the team members that we have right now, bro, I love those fucking guys. I don't want to just bring anybody on, potentially poison the culture with somebody that's just shitty or low work ethic or low vibration, low frequency, if you will. We don't need that fucking energy, bro. Come in every day. We all put out what we have to get done, and then we put numbers up on the motherfucking board. So, for anybody that's watching this, if you're interested in coming and selling with XFG, we'd love to have you. If you're currently selling elsewhere, you're taking live transfers, you're frustrated with, just shitty callers, or if you're taking inbound phone calls, and you want to come and work our inbound phone calls and work with us and probably get paid better. Or, if you're outbound dialing and you're sick and tired of doing the outbound grind, come over, let's have a conversation. We just want to get as many agents successful as possible. And we have a few spots available for the team right now. So if you're interested in coming and selling with XFG, let us know. If you're interested in jumping on Policy Printer, feel free to also submit the form on the website, policyprinter.io. However, I'm not really taking that many new agents because I'm not trying to give the sauce away. We're probably going to have to train you. I don't really want to do that. But if you're interested, we'll have a conversation, see if it's a good fit. If it's a good fit, we'll bring you on and see if we can scale your final expense agency with inbound.
Yeah, and I'll speak to that a little bit as well, because we just brought on an agent from another agency, and with the other agency, that agent's best month was between $5,000 and $6,000. It was like $5,600 in premium. Okay, that was his best month. And he was dialing outbound data. He switched over to XFG, and I taught him how to sell and close inbound calls. And just in the last 2 weeks, he has 14 sales for $17,000 in annual premium. So if he keeps that up, he should write over $30,000 this month. And, with those numbers, he'd be looking at a paycheck of around $23,000 roughly. So just by switching over, he gave himself almost a 10x pay raise, which is crazy.
Yeah. Type fucking shit. And on top of that, this motherfucker, bro, how long have you been training him? You had 9 calendar days on of training, and and literally in those 9 days, he was writing the 17K. So he comes over and hadn't worked inbounds before. He hit me up because he was like, bro, I'm trying to work your inbounds. And I was like, come on down, come learn from Yoder. He took some fucking sales training with you, went through the process, worked his ass off, right? We're not going to say that it was like, he's a fucking gangster, absolute gangster. But like worked hard, took the calls, was consistent, is consistent. And yeah, now he's going to be writing over 30K a month. This guy's hitting me up saying, bro, I need 40K a month minimum. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep making sure the calls are up. So yeah, man, I mean, that's pretty fire, bro. And like, I feel really proud of that because one, you know, I work my motherfucking ass off to optimize these calls and make sure enough calls come in. And I know you work your fucking ass off tirelessly to make sure the agents have everything they need on the sales management and the sales process side to be able to hit those numbers. Because the last thing we want to be is another fucking sales agency that says, oh yeah, come learn how to sell and make $10,000 a month and like financial freedom. Shut the fuck up, bro. First off, financial freedom is not at 10K a month. Okay. I've made a whole lot more than $10,000 a month, a whole lot more than that. And I am still not whatever the fuck financially free means. I'm trying to get a motherfucking bag, bro. And I think that's how everybody is on the team, bro. Like, we could all be doing 100K a month, and like, what the fuck is 100K a month, bro? So yeah, bro. I mean, I would just like to add more people to the team that have that same fucking vision.
Well, and like you said before, I mean, because like the agents that succeed the most are the ones that meet us halfway and even more. You know, they're the ones that are willing to put in the extra effort to really learn and improve. They're attending all the daily meetings. They're attending the sales trainings. They're in, and I'm in the trenches right with them. But, you know, like I said, I can't take all the credit for it because I'm just teaching them how to sell. But they're the ones that are doing the work, and, you know, they're the ones that are utilizing the systems that we put together. So
no, that's dope, bro. I hope that we were able to shed some light, you know, to the viewers on the different types of leads out there, the different, you know, quality, what the numbers can look like, and ultimately why inbound's the best. And like, to be honest, bro, we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot by even making this fucking video because this is the sauce. This is our sauce. There's some people that are doing it, not that fucking many, but we're going to shed light on it. And the ultimate reason why is because it doesn't matter if you're selling with us or you're selling for somebody else down the block. If we can help agents, we can help agents. And if we help enough agents and we help them long enough, they're all going to come around and come work with us one way or another. And if not, all good. Let's be friends. Let's network. Let's have some conversations. Let's, you know, make other good relationships in the industry. But we're, you know, I'm super fucking bullish on being the guys that do inbounds. And yeah, if you want to come and work with us and run some inbound phone calls, let's make some fucking money. Yep. Come on down. Yoder, do you have any other questions for me, or can we hop off because I'm tired?
Not any questions, but you know, I'll just say one more thing here before we wrap up. So the insurance agency is notorious for high failure rates. I think the stats are like 93% of people fail out of the business within like the first couple months. They try it out and they never go back to it. So like my main goal with this whole thing, and Nate's too, is making sure that when people come in, we are giving them literally everything that they'll need to become a successful agent and really make the business work as they should, because everybody comes into this business to make a lot of money. So when they don't see results that quickly, it's very easy for them to just drop out. Or if they know for a fact that they're not in the best model, like you don't even know how many people that I've talked to that are like, oh yeah, like I was with another agency and I got a lot of people that I can recruit into it and be on my team, but I didn't feel confident recruiting them into a system that didn't work. But what you guys have here is crushing, and I want to be a part of it. I've talked to so many people like that. And you know, we haven't had anybody fall off the team that's actually been taking calls. Like once they put in that first order of calls, they're staying on the team because we have the results and we have the good quality calls that are going to allow these people to truly be successful.
Yeah, 100%. It's very, very different when, and I've had similar conversations where they go, oh yeah, you know, oh, you do life insurance. Oh God, you're one of those guys, you do life insurance. Yeah, I don't know if I'm really interested in that because I'm not trying to like recruit my mom, and I'm also not trying to just like outbound dial all day and do hundreds of outbound dials all day. So that sucks because now we're coming at it with a completely different model with results that speak for them fucking selves. If you don't believe us, have a conversation with us. We'll introduce you to any of our fucking agents. They will all tell you, nah, this shit fucking works, you know, because they also want more people on the team. Like we're all super like, just lock the fuck in right now. And, you know, it sucks because now there's kind of like a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth for life insurance. But I'm going to be real. That kind of makes me happy because we changed the model. We flipped that shit on its head. Instead of us just trying to get more agents on and get paid per agent we bring on from our upline, or bring somebody on and then just rinse them for leads where they buy, $1,000, $2,000 worth of leads, and then they have to sit there and outbound dial and hope to God they get someone on the phone. And then when they get someone on the phone and their brain's kind of like, oh my God, because I don't know what I'm doing now. They're not ready because they don't have the proper sales management, the proper sales training, the proper sales support. Like, bro, that's a shitty fucking model. There's no other way to say that. That is a shit model. But our model is fucking fire. You come in, you learn how to sell. You got Yoder on the calls with you, right? If you have somebody on the phone and you're trying to close them, you telegram, yo, Yoder, I need you. He hops on, helps you smash that policy down. You have live inbound phone calls, so you're having live conversations every single day that you're working. And like 5, 10, 15, 20 different sales conversations every day. We do 5 sales conversations every single day for the first week. And then you spend 2 hours reviewing those calls with fucking Yoder himself, the guy that can fucking literally print 50 stacks a month in AP from these inbound phone calls. You're not going to lose, bro. Like 100% success rate. Let's fucking go. Just kidding. FTC, please don't. Please don't. We might. But no, like genuinely, bro. Like, no, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee that you're going to come in and you're going to make a fucking $1 billion. But like, if you work your ass off, you get through our vetting process to come and work with us. Like, we're not going to just let you on if we think you're going to suck. We're going to tell you respectfully, I don't think this is the right opportunity for you because it doesn't sound like a fit. It's not a fit for us. I wish you the absolute best. And then we'll let you go. Have a great life. We're not out here trying to close somebody at, 10K piff. You know what I mean? Like, come on, let's grow a sales team. We're fuck out of here. I don't know.
Yeah, because we don't really make money on the leads. We make money on people selling policies. We don't make money on recruiting. We only make money selling policies.
So it's like, let's fucking go. So yeah, if anybody that wants to fucking tap in, go below to the description. I'm going to have something in there. I'll have XFG's website, Policy Printer's website. If you're lame and you don't want to come work with us, but you want to get on Policy Printer and buy some inbounds, hop on there. XFG's website and I don't know, our socials or some shit. I don't know what's all going to be included there. I'll have to ask the video editor because he's the one that does all that shit for me. Shout out Chris. But right on, dude. Let's fucking go. Hit us up.
All right,
we'll see you next week.